Imagine this. It's a typical morning. The alarm buzzes, and you groggily stumble out of bed. Most of us rush into the day, skipping small tasks like making the bed because, well, what difference could it possibly make? But what if I told you that one simple act could set the tone for everything else in your life? This is where Admiral William H. McRaven steps in. A retired Navy SEAL, McRaven gave a speech in 2014 that went viral. He shared 10 lessons from his intense SEAL training that are simple but life-changing. These lessons became the foundation of his best-selling book, Make Your Bed. And no, this isn't just about tidying up. It's about habits, grit, teamwork, and finding hope even in the darkest of moments. Today, we're diving into these 10 lessons, each with a story that could inspire you to rethink the way you live your life. So, let's start where McRaven started, with the small, seemingly insignificant act of making your bed. It all starts with something as simple as making your bed. During Navy SEAL training, Admiral McRaven and his fellow trainees were inspected every morning. Their beds had to be perfect, corner sharp, blankets pulled tight, and pillow precisely centered. If it wasn't, they'd hear about it. At first it seemed trivial. Why care so much about a bed when there were bigger challenges ahead? But over time, McRaven realized the power of this small task. Making your bed every morning isn't just about tidiness. It's about starting your day with a win. It's a reminder that even when the world feels chaotic, you're still in control of the little things. And the best part, that small win sets the tone for your entire day. If you've already accomplished something, you'll feel motivated to tackle bigger tasks. And if your day goes terribly, at least you'll come home to a bed that's made, a small comfort in a tough world. It's not just about the bed, it's about building momentum. One small task leads to another, and before you know it, you're tackling challenges you never thought you could. That's the first lesson. Start your day with a task completed, and let it propel you forward. No matter how strong, smart, or determined you think you are, you can't succeed alone. Admiral McRaven learned this lesson during SEAL training in one of the most challenging tests of teamwork, paddling a small rubber boat through crashing waves. Each boat was crewed by 6 trainees, and success depended on everyone pulling their weight, literally. If even one person was out of sync, the boat would tip over or fall behind. There were no solo heroes, no room for egos. It was all about the team working together, perfectly in rhythm, to get through the storm. This lesson isn't just about boats or training, it's about life. No one can paddle through life's storms by themselves. We all need people to lean on, whether it's family, friends, or colleagues. And just as in SEAL training, you need to be there for them too. When times get tough, and they will, it's the people by your side who will help you push forward. So remember, the journey isn't meant to be walked alone. Build your team, trust them, and face the waves together. Because when you work as one, there's no storm you can't conquer. During SEAL training, there was a crew nicknamed the Munchkin Crew. They were the smallest group of trainees, with every member shorter than average. They didn't look as strong or intimidating as some of the other teams, but when it came to the toughest challenges, they were unstoppable. Whether it was paddling through rough seas or running endless miles, this team outperformed the others time and time again. Why? Because it wasn't their size or physical strength that mattered. It was their heart, their determination, and their refusal to quit. McRaven learned something powerful from watching them. It's not the size of your muscles, your resources, or even your talents that define your success. It's the size of your heart, your willingness to give everything you've got, and your resilience when the odds are against you. Life will throw challenges your way, and sometimes you'll feel like you're not big enough or strong enough to handle them. But remember, the fight isn't won by those who look the part. It's won by those who refuse to give up, because in the end, only the size of your heart matters. In Navy SEAL training, there's a punishment called the sugar cookie, a humiliating task designed to test mental toughness. Trainees would have to roll around in the sand, cover themselves in it, and then continue training, drenched in salt water and sand. The worst part? You didn't get to shower off the sand. You stayed uncomfortable for hours. McRaven was forced to be a sugar cookie more times than he could count. But instead of feeling defeated, he learned something invaluable. The sugar cookie wasn't just about physical discomfort. It was about perseverance. When life knocks you down, when you feel like you're covered in sand and can't escape the discomfort, that's when you truly discover what you're made of. Everyone faces tough times. We all go through moments where things don't seem fair or where we're stuck in situations we didn't ask for. But the key is to get over it, push through, and keep moving forward. The sugar cookie teaches us that the discomfort isn't the end. It's just a challenge to overcome. So next time life throws you a curveball, don't let it break you. Embrace the discomfort, keep going, and rise above it. Because the strength you build in those moments is what will carry you through. In SEAL training, when things couldn't get any worse, there was something called the Circus. It wasn't a fun experience. It was a grueling, extra set of physical exercises that pushed you to the limit. Think running with heavy logs, doing endless push-ups, and facing the harshest conditions, all while feeling like you've hit rock bottom. And it was always a punishment. But McRaven quickly realized that the circus wasn't just about physical endurance. It was a test of character. Most people dreaded it, but the SEALs who succeeded were the ones who embraced the challenge. They didn't run from the pain or try to avoid it. They leaned into it, knowing it would make them stronger. In life, we all have our own version of the circus. The extra work, the challenges that feel impossible, the times when you're so tired and frustrated that quitting seems like the best option. But what if you chose to embrace it instead? What if, instead of avoiding the difficult moments, you face them head on, knowing they'd only make you tougher? The circus isn't something to fear. It's an opportunity to grow. It teaches you that the tough times won't break you. They'll only build your strength and resilience. So next time you face your own circus, remember this. Lean in, keep going, and come out stronger on the other side. One of the most terrifying obstacles in SEAL training was the high tower. Imagine standing at the top of a 30-foot platform, looking down at a narrow, steep slide. The challenge was simple. Slide down head first. Sounds easy enough, but the idea of hurtling down a tower head first with nothing but a rope to stop you made even the toughest trainees hesitate. McRaven stood at the top, nervous, and watched as others climbed down slowly, unsure of themselves. But when it was his turn, he decided to take the plunge, literally. He threw himself down that slide without hesitation, feeling the rush of fear and excitement at the same time. The lesson wasn't just about conquering a physical challenge. It was about taking risks and embracing the unknown. The trainees who hesitated, who waited for the perfect moment, were the ones who struggled. The ones who dove in head first, even with fear, were the ones who finished strong. Life often presents us with situations that feel like jumping down from a high tower. We stand there, frozen, waiting for the right moment to act. But sometimes the best way forward is to just take the leap. Slide down that obstacle head first. Trust that you'll figure it out as you go and that you're stronger than you think. The world is full of unknowns, and the only way to conquer them is by diving in, overcoming your fears, and trusting yourself along the way. Don't hold back. Take the plunge. In life, we all face our own sharks. Fear of failure, rejection, or the unknown can make us hesitate or pull us back. But the key is not to let those fears stop us. Keep swimming, stay calm, and keep moving forward. Because when you don't back down from the sharks, you'll realize they were never the real threat. It's the fear that holds you back, not the obstacles themselves. And once you conquer that fear, there's nothing you can't face. During one of the most brutal parts of SEAL training, McRaven and his team were faced with an unexpected challenge. They had to complete an exercise in freezing dark waters at night. The task was exhausting, with the cold seeping into their bones, making every movement feel heavier. It felt like the end for many of the trainees. But then McRaven noticed something. Those who succeeded in these moments weren't the ones who were physically the strongest. They were the ones who kept pushing, even when everything in them screamed to stop. They didn't give up when the pain was unbearable. Instead, they found a way to perform their very best, even when it seemed impossible. This lesson stayed with him for years. In life, we all face moments of darkness, times when things seem hopeless, when everything feels like it's falling apart. But it's in those darkest moments that we have the chance to rise, to give our best effort despite the circumstances. McRaven taught us that real strength isn't measured by how well we perform when everything is going smoothly. It's measured by how we react when life gets tough. When the world feels overwhelming, that's when you show what you're made of. So when life drags you down and everything feels impossible, remember this: your true strength comes from being your very best. When it's the hardest to do so, that's when you shine the brightest. There was a moment during SEAL training when McRaven's team faced a critical mission. The odds were stacked against them. They were exhausted, hungry, and morale was low. It was the kind of mission that most people would back down from. But then McRaven saw something incredible happen. A teammate, who was usually quiet and reserved, stepped up. This teammate didn't have the biggest muscles or the most experience, but when it mattered most, he rose to the occasion. He took charge, motivating the team, keeping everyone focused, and leading them through one of the toughest parts of the mission. McRaven realized that in those crucial moments, it's not the strongest or the most experienced who lead. It's those who step up when everyone else is ready to give up. It's the people who find the strength to rise, even when everything seems stacked against them. We all face moments in life where we're asked to step up, whether it's at work, in our relationships, or when we're going through personal struggles. There will be times when you'll have to rise to the occasion. And when those moments come, don't back down. Don't shy away from the challenge. Instead, embrace it and be the one who leads. Because in the end, it's those moments that define who we are, and when you rise to the occasion, you become stronger and more capable than you ever imagined. One of the most powerful lessons McRaven learned during his time in the Navy SEALs wasn't about physical endurance or survival. It was about leadership. He recalls a moment when one of the trainees, struggling through the grueling physical demands of the training, looked completely defeated. He was ready to quit, to walk away from the challenge. But McRaven saw something in him: potential, resilience, and a spark that just needed a little encouragement to reignite. So McRaven did something simple but profound. He gave him a word of encouragement, a reminder that he was capable of more than he thought, that he could push through the pain and finish strong. That moment changed everything for that trainee. With a new sense of hope and belief in himself, he found the strength to keep going, to fight through the hardest part of the training. And soon he was back on track, accomplishing things he never thought possible. The lesson here is that hope is powerful. Sometimes all someone needs is a little belief from others to push them through their toughest battles. In life, we all have the ability to inspire hope in others, whether through a kind word, a small act of support, or simply by being there for them when they need it most. If you want to make a real impact, give people hope, encourage them when they're at their lowest, help them believe in their own strength, and show them that they can overcome anything. Because when you give others hope, you don't just change their lives, you change the world.